Now this year there's been a lot of new content and changes added to Oldschool Runescape that have created a lot of brand new money making methods for 2024. So today I thought it'd be interesting to cover my favorite new money making methods of the year. This video's scope will cover brand new content as well as reworked content because there's been a lot of that this year as well. Now a really fun little hunter training method that was added with Varlamore is Moonlight Antelopes. This is probably not the most efficient way to train this skill, but it is a decent hunter training method that can get you up to about 85k per hour and is reasonably profitable as well. Now to do this method you will need a fair number of things in your inventory, but all of them are pretty easy to get. First up, these fur pouches and meat pouches can essentially be bought directly from the Grand Exchange. You do have to create them yourself though. You're also going to want an axe, a chisel, a knife, a teasing stick, and a teleport. To get there, I'm using the Civitas teleport. Equipped, I just have Graceful for weight reduction purposes and a Bone Crusher. I have the Bone Crusher necklace so I can equip it, and you'll see why these items are important in a second. Now the way I get there, I teleport to Civitas Illa Fortis, run over here to my trusty steed Rune, and then we go to the Outer Fortis. This is one of the travel destinations you will have to create after the quest with Quetzal Feed, Limestone Brick, and Soft Clay, but you can once again just buy that right from the Grand Exchange. And from here, we're just going to run over to the hunting area. Alternatively, you could just teleport to the Fairy Ring, but it is a bit further. Now, Pitfall Trapping is pretty easy and consistent, but first let's explain why we need all these items, and we'll do that by first setting a trap and catching one of these Moonlight Antelopes. Okay, so the idea is you tease them with the teasing stick, jump over the spiked pit. Oh no, foolish deer. So normally you're going to get all of these items: Sunfire Splinters, Antelope Fur, Moonlight Antelope, a Moonlight Antelope Antler, and Big Bones. So your inventory would get full very quickly, but thanks to the meat pouches, that can automatically go in there. The fur will automatically go in the fur pouch. The bone gets auto-buried from our Bone Crusher, and the Antelope Antler you can just break down with a chisel into a stackable bolt. Now if you set your pouches to open, pretty much everything will be automatically processed for you. Now to do this a bit quicker, you can tease another antelope while the other one is going to its demise. That way you can dismantle it, set the trap, jump over, and then repeat it on the other side. This will increase your GP and XP per hour by a pretty significant amount, so I'd recommend doing it. Now these do a bit of damage, so you can protect melee the whole time, and the Bone Crusher is particularly nice for that because it increases your prayer bonus, making it so you'll never take any damage really. So from here you can chisel down your antlers if you want, or you can just bank them for later. Now if you want to stay here longer, I would chisel them down, otherwise I would just sell them directly. I don't think it's worth the time to chisel them. Pretty cool method that can get you up to about 900k per hour GP, while getting you about 80k per hour hunter experience. Now this year, the single most profitable rune crafting training method was added, or kind of reworked I guess you could say. Now it's simply crafting double nature runes, but thanks to a skilling rebalance, this agility shortcut was added. It requires 79 agility to go across, and it's made access to the nature altar so much quicker. It's not even close to how quick it was before. Now this method can get you up to 3.4 mil per hour while getting pretty competitive runecraft training at about 74k per hour. But there's one massive requirement, and that is a achievement diary cape. Without the achievement diary cape, this method's not nearly as good. Because you can teleport right to Caleb Paramaya, climb down the ladder, and you are super close to the agility shortcut. Otherwise, you have to go to the Shiloh Village Mine, which is not nearly as close. You can see your way over here. If you have to use this, the GP per hour is about halved. Not to mention, you also need 91 rune crafting just to get double natures to begin with, so it is a good method but has substantial requirements to do it efficiently, but it is now the most profitable way to get 99 rune crafting. Now, another piece of content that got reworked in 2024 is the Wilderness Agility course, and this is now such a good training method while also being incredibly profitable at the same time. This method has the benefit of having very low requirements overall. You really just need 52 agility to do it, but the obvious drawback is it's in the wilderness, and now that it's more lucrative, more people will PK here. Now to get money from the Wilderness Agility course, you have to bring 150k as a fee to the Agility Dispenser. Each time you run around the course, you can tag the dispenser to get some loot. The average loot will increase the more laps that you complete, peaking out at about 40k per lap or around 2.5 to 3 mil per hour. Now this is assuming you don't get interrupted and aren't banking very often, but you will want to bank. A couple things worth noting is you can't leave the agility course without losing your 150k deposit, and if you log out you'll lose 10 laps from your streak, so you really do want to stay here for a while, but also not too long that you're risking a lot if you die. Now you don't really have to bring anything, you can just hope that nobody attacks you, and that is a valid strategy. If it's not very busy here, you can get away just bringing just 3 items and that's it. But if you're gonna stay here a while, I would recommend at least bringing a 3-way mage switch and some ice sacks to attempt to freeze a PKer and log out, as well as some bruise and blighted super restores, and the tankiest 3 items that you have. Once you get to the agility course, tag the dispenser and deposit your 150,000 coins and start doing laps. Each time you go around, just tag the dispenser, and the items will enter your looting bag, which you should definitely bring a looting bag. You won't have room in your inventory to carry all the items, so a looting bag is vital. And just set it to open so items will automatically go in there. See, as you start running around, items will stack up in the looting bag, as well as you'll be getting these agility tickets, which you can redeem for experience. The more you redeem at once, the higher XP you get, but it's not as big a deal. And redeeming them whenever you want really won't impact your experience rate too much. Now, probably one of the most lucrative low-level moneymakers that was added this year has to be zombie pirates. Zombie pirates are once again in the wilderness, but they require almost nothing to kill. And their loot table was so good that it actually got nerfed this year, but still, it is incredibly profitable. Now, the only skill and combat requirements directly to kill them is just a decent enough range level and protect from magic. However, earlier this year they added in a hard requirement of the medium wilderness diaries to be able to get the full loot from them, otherwise you get 85% less loot. But even with that, the requirements are still not that high, considering you can earn over 2 mil per hour while training your range skill pretty efficiently, because the best way to kill zombie pirates is with a cannon or a Venator bow, but I think for people who are most likely to do this, a cannon is more achievable. Now it's very simple, you can just use a burning necklace, or you can run up to the Chaos Temple, you pop a cannon down and fill it up and just start attacking everything in your sight. Make sure you're protecting from magic though when you go in here, otherwise you'll get absolutely destroyed by the Elder Chaos Druids. You'll take a bit of damage from the zombie pirates themselves, so it is helpful to have, you know, at least 20 or 30 hit points. But your inventory will fill up so quickly and you'll spend most of the time just picking up drops. Compared to other moneymakers available with these requirements, this one is still so good, and yes, there are PKers of course, but you're banking so often that even a death doesn't matter that much. The only thing I would recommend is don't pick up your cannon ever. The only way to really lose money here is if you have the cannon in your inventory, you get PK'd and lose a piece or 2 of them. Now, I was trying this on a brand new account, I was getting 60k per hour ranged experience at level 38 while making millions of GP per hour. Now, whenever a new high-end piece of PVM content comes out, often it will be one of the best moneymakers for the first few weeks of its release or something like that. But the Coliseum has remained the single best moneymaker in the game for much of 2024. Just recently has it been surpassed by Next once again, but it is still highly competitive as one of the best ways to build an account's wealth. Now, the Coliseum doesn't actually have that many hard requirements at all. You can go there with just, I think, Children of the Sun. Like, it has almost no requirements, but also at the same time has massive requirements, most of them skill related. Now, there's a few different strategies to make money with the Coliseum. There is completing just the first wave over and over and over again, which is called Wave 1 farming. That can be completed at a much lower level and can earn you around 2 mil per hour, more or less. It's highly dependent on the price of Sunfire Splinters, which are hovering around 550 GP each as of the making of this video. To do this, you really just need a blowpipe, some sort of spec weapon like a DDS, and a trident. That's probably the lowest you can get away with, and still make relatively close to 2 mil per hour. Now, to complete the Coliseum is a whole other ballpark, and is one of the most difficult pieces of content in the game. You could complete it probably with 90 combat stats, a Fang, and an Abyssal Tentacle. And if you had 100% completion rate, you could probably earn at least 10 mil per hour with the Coliseum, and it scales up to 15, 16 mil if you're really efficient with a scythe. This is currently one of my favorite money-making methods that was added this year, and it has so much flexibility in how you do it. You could just run through the first 8 waves if you want, the first 5 waves if you want, or the first wave. It really comes down to your personal skill with the content and over time you will improve and make more money here, where a lot of other money making methods have a pretty hard cap you reach early on. Not to mention it offers the best in slot range cape, which is a pretty sweet bonus as well. Now the Moons Apparel is another one of the main money making methods added to Varlamore this year, and it's similar to Barrows, but is a bit more difficult, but twice as profitable. I wasn't really sure how long the value of the items offered from this would hold, but oh, they're holding. Many of the items are worth a lot right now, like the Blood Moon tassets are worth 10 mil. Actually insane. The Blood Moon chestplate is 5 mil. The Blue Moon tassets are 8 mil, the chestplate, and there's quite a few other items worth millions of GP, which means there's actually a pretty good payday from the Perilous Moons. Now you probably could start getting some kills here with mid 70 combat stats, Barrows armor, and a specific styled weapon for each of the bosses. Of course, your kills per hour are going to be lower with lesser gear, but compared to other moneymakers that are targeted to mid levels, this one is still quite profitable. I'm going to say it's partly due to the fact that there's no pet here. Finally, they've learned. Moons Apparel can offer up to about 2 mil per hour. Of course, that's going to be averaged out over a lot of different runs. Sometimes you'll get a big 10 mil payday, in other chests you'll get 5k in loot. Obviously, this is an average. On top of getting between 60 and 70k melee experience per hour as well, making it a pretty decent training method, which once again, if we're comparing this to Barrows, Barrows really does not offer that much experience at all, because you're using a trident for most of it. But this will actually train your account up while making decent money. And that's not to mention all the supplies you can obtain in the dungeon, which means you don't have to use any of your own supplies, making your input costs absolutely zero, which makes it even more appealing. Now another piece of content in the wilderness that got reworked this year is the Rogue's Chest. The Rogue's Chest requires 84 thieving to unlock it, but it now provides one of the best thieving moneymakers in the game and is very consistent, except for the fact that you can die at any point, so that way is not as consistent. Now besides the thieving level requirement, you also need Protect from Melee, certainly, or you will definitely die, and the Wilderness Hard Diary to get the most loot from the chest. Without the diary, you'll get significantly less rewards from the chest. Now without too many interruptions, you can get over 2 mil an hour thieving from the Rogue's Chest and nearly 300k thieving experience per hour as well, so it's quite good and doesn't require a thieving cape or rogue's outfit to be effective. All you really need to bring is either some prayer boosting gear or something that will make you tankier in case you get attacked by a PKer. Kind of depends how busy it is in the wilderness at the time. If it's a high population day or time of day, I would go for at least black d'hide, a bulwark if you have it. The method is really simple. There are 3 rogues chests to steal from. As soon as you steal from one, all the rogues will attack you. Alternate between the 3 chests to get the maximum GP and XP rewards. Method's dead simple. And if you do get attacked by a PKer, the best option is just to run into the rogue's castle and go up and down the staircase there to try to log out. Now another profitable hunter creature that was added with Varlamore is Moonlight Antelopes, and these are almost identical to Sunlight Antelopes, but they're actually more profitable, albeit require 91 Hunter. Now these are found in the Hunters Guild, and they're more profitable because the meat that they drop is quite good. It's 3,000 each for the raw Moonlight Antelope, which is one of the highest healing food in the game currently, and the Moonlight Antlers also sell for a decent amount as well. You can get a bit north of 1.1 mil per hour hunting the Moonlight Antelopes right now, so it's definitely a very chill alternative to other hunter money making methods like Chinchampas that require much more focus. This one's dead easy, while still being reasonably profitable. Okay, and finally, the newest significant money making method that's been added is Tormented Demons. Yes, the monster that requires a full degree and encyclopedia to understand all the mechanics. Well, it turns out their profitability has retained pretty consistent since their release. Now the main requirement to kill Tormented Demons is the quest While Gothic Sleeps, which has a whole host of skill and quest requirements. Beyond that though, to kill them you realistically will want at least 80-ish in all your combat stats, alongside at least Arclight. There's a huge variety of weapons you can use to kill these things though, and the amount of kills per hour varies wildly depending on your strategy, gear, and experience killing them. For a closer to a mid-level account, You actually can still kill them, but you're probably getting closer to like 20 kills per hour, but you can get up to about 50 kills per hour with a proper strategy, taking advantage of all the mechanics. Like I said, it's very complicated and could use an entire guide on its own. But at peak efficiency, you can get in the range of 6 to 7 mil per hour killing these things, so they're really profitable. And the price of the Tormented Synapse is holding pretty strong at around 60 mil. So it seems like for the time being, they're actually a pretty staple money-making method you can work towards in 2024. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.